Anybody got a prescription, yeah, for this love pain? Anybody got a pill like a pop for this love pain? Anybody got a prayer for this love pain, yeah? Ooh, I need it for this love pain.
What's up everybody on YouTube and those who are my subscribers? Today I'm making this video about my personal opinion and review on the MCU's latest and questionable movie, Eternals. Now, for someone like me who has, for the first time making this video, given my optimal opinion and has spent years at the movie several times, grasping plot, convenient, drama, the suspense of it, the heartbreak, and what makes a best storyline and best picture. I can deduce that Eternal, while having some, troublesome, story building, it still lines up to being a very entertaining and resourceful and a fairly, cultivating MCU, blockbuster movie.
And that's not me going on to Rotten Tomatoes. No matter what Rotten Tomatoes say, they are not fully aware of what makes a movie truly a movie. And yeah, you can say from me, just from one person, that if you think Rotten Tomatoes isn't wrong, then that's okay by you. But for you who are people who go to the movie every single day to watch what you want to watch, and then review what you want to review on your own video, and if it lines up with what you say, doesn't that question of what the other person says, and that includes Rotten Tomato. So, nobody's is 100% sure, but I appreciate it if you consider what I'm saying as an aspect of what is truly, honestly true. And it's not just me. A few people at movies I've seen with have their own opinions, and I'll show you, and here's what they said.
Times. I saw a chunk of it. It was alright. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but it was good regardless.
I loved it. I liked it a lot, actually. I would watch it again. I loved it.
First of all, it's not as bad as people thought it would be. Or people said it was, because it actually had a good plot. And there was two interesting characters that got development. Two.
All right.
It all lines up for, for entertaining, for what people who go to the movies have to say. And Rotten Tomatoes is only a
Small group of people who are limited on what they're capable of seeing. For one fellow person on YouTube tells that they didn't even want to go see Eternals, they just reviewed it the next day when it came out of theaters. And I have to admit, for some aspects of what it's trying to say and what is different, it actually makes it a better story. I mean, come on, people. This has to be like the 28th Marvel movie that MCU has pulled out of their wallets. So, when a person like I forgot who his name is, but it's the Black Knight, says, well, are you a wizard to Cersei, like Doctor Strange, and he's not, freaked out about it. I mean, after so many things that happen in MCU with people of the Earth being blitzed in the crossfires, why wouldn't they be less surprised? I mean, why wouldn't somebody like that be totally okay with it by now? I mean, I'm just saying, when the impossible becomes an everyday life that in the MCU has lasted for a decade, you kind of, in their reality, it would kind of get a bit mundane, a little. And let's talk about Fastos, the person I'm pretty sure everybody's having their own mixed opinions, because he's the first person in the MCU have they established a different relationship and, you know, for different types of genders. As in his homosexuality is the first time they grasped that mention in the MCU, and people are like oblivious to it. Well, I can tell you my opinion. So what? It's introducing what is human in our everyday lives. Everybody has their own grasp of their own emotions, their own feelings, and their own way of storytelling. And it was sooner inevitable. Pretty sure this isn't the only movie that express how gayism is looked down on as being very outsiding. For those who just can't get the idea, just be completely against it. Well, I can firmly say that I can accept it. For I'm just gonna say it till there's no confusion. I definitely don't share the feelings, but I understand them. I can understand that for any person who looks at another guy and tell them it's okay to be you. And if the other person is okay with it, go along with. You two can go along with it. And if that can be accepted in the real world, why can't that not be accepted in the movie world? Where people can see that and just be okay with it. Sure, even I admit I still grimace my eyes because I can't truly be in front of it to be understanding. I can understand from a distance, doing their own privacy, that's fine, but not when it's on Blockbuster. So yeah, maybe they expressed it a bit too much, but they sure as hell did not do anything wrong putting that in the movie. I think that's the best start the MCU has to explain that to the entire world, that they're expressing everything that's going in life in their, blockbuster universe. And now, let's talk about who is the main actor, who's the top celebrity, and who's my personal goddess of all, the goddess of war, Athena. Now, it's a shame that they have to express her in such a dramatic way, for Angelina has always had the best career expressing how much she is and defending out for herself and being absolutely 100% toughest they come. For she's not afraid to, not only express her own opinion, but show how much she can fight and be absolutely one unstoppable badass. And it's just a shame that she didn't get much of a storyline. But at the end, it wasn't really about Athena, so it was really about the start of Cersei and loving humanity and their plan and all. And I'm not going to mention that much of Icarus, since he turned out to be a traitorous lying SLB. I mean, the first MCU Superman they go with, and he has to be already an asshole. But in the end, he did help out in stopping the celestial Tuma from rising out of the earth and destroying everybody in the process. But still, I give him no remorse. I say he'd still die like a bitch, even if that bitch burned as a crisp in the sun. Completing the poetic story. And so, I could say for 100%, Eternals ended with a high note, nonetheless, because it ended with Arisham the Celestial grabbing the remaining Eternals from Earth and, taking them to a place where they would be judged and to come back to judge the rest of humanity. That sets up a stage for Phase 4. Now, how it was going to be directed and go along for what would make this a good story in this movie of the MCU, I'm pretty sure they weren't preparing to be the best, but they were preparing for bringing out all the stuff of what will be the best they can show in the rest of their movies in the best storytelling as possible. And I think Marvel's Spider-Man No Way Home will be the starting point on how things will really start to shape up more in what the MCU has to offer. And that's the end of this review. I hope you all enjoyed this daily topic. And if you think I'm wrong by any means, then please go ahead, leave a comment, say where I mislead, and if I left anything out, by all means mention it. I'll try to grasp more in the next review. And just know, I'm a first starter, so I can care less about how much this will look for people who subscribe to my channel from now on. I express what is my opinion, truth and fact, and what can make a good story and a good telling, and best of all, what to show on this channel. I'm CMooney, #CMooney. See you next time.